ever watched a train wreck in slow motion, knowing exactly how much devastation is about to happen, yet you simply cannot look away? That is exactly what we are witnessing with Danny Dupree on Beyond the Gates. We all thought the terrifying tornado elevator hookup was just a panic-induced mistake, a momentary lapse in judgment fueled by near-death adrenaline and unresolved trauma. But oh, how incredibly wrong we were. What is happening right now is no longer a tragic accident. It is a calculated, toxic descent into absolute betrayal. Dani is actively choosing the darkness, and the collateral damage she is about to inflict on her own life is going to be nothing short of catastrophic. Let us rewind and break down exactly how this psychological nightmare started. Naomi Hawthorne's devastating revelation about testing positive for the BRCA gene has sent massive shockwaves through the entire family. It is a terrifying medical reality, one that would bring any mother to her knees with worry. Dani, desperate to secure her daughter's future and understand the best path forward, heads to Bill Hamilton's office to discuss the complex legal and insurance ramifications of Naomi's diagnosis. On paper, this makes perfect sense. Bill is a powerhouse attorney. He knows how to navigate the system, and most importantly, he is Naomi's father. Dani walks into that office wrapped in a heavy shield of forced professionalism, determined to keep a strict, impenetrable boundary between them. But she severely underestimates the sheer predatory emotional intelligence of her ex-husband. Bill does not just see a concerned mother sitting across his desk. He sees a cracked foundation ready to be exploited. He sees Dani at her absolute most vulnerable, drowning in maternal terror, and he capitalizes on it with chilling precision. Instead of offering clinical legal advice from a safe distance, he offers a dangerously intimate brand of comfort. He steps right into her personal space, breaking down her carefully constructed professional walls with a faux tenderness that only a master manipulator can weaponize. In her weakest moment, terrified for her daughter's life and desperate for reassurance, Dani allows the boundaries to blur. She leans into the familiarity of the man who shares her child, completely forgetting the sacred vows she made to Andre Richardson. The tension in that law office is so thick you could cut it with a knife, and it almost blows up in their faces spectacularly. An unsuspecting employee nearly walks in on this highly inappropriate moment of closeness, sending Dani into an absolute spiral of panic. This near miss should have been the ultimate wake-up call. It should have been the bucket of ice water Dani needed to run out of that building and back to the safety, purity, and loyalty of her marriage. But what does Bill do in the aftermath of that panic? He leans in closer and whispers the most lethal, psychologically damaging sentence he could possibly construct. Only I truly understand your pain. Boom. That is not just a comforting whisper. That is a strategic emotional anchor. He is isolating her, making her believe that Andre, the perfect, devoted, loving husband, could never comprehend the depths of her current agony because he does not share this child with her. Let us analyze the psychology of this moment for a second. Why does that whisper work so effectively on a woman who fought so hard to escape this man? Because Dani is fundamentally addicted to the chaos of Bill Hamilton. She realizes in that panicked moment that she is falling right back into his emotional trap, yet she lacks the willpower to claw her way out. She is stuck in a paralyzing purgatory between her moral obligation to Andre and a dark, twisted desire for the man who has broken her heart 1,000,000 times over. Bill's manipulation threatens to shatter the fragile, artificial peace she has built with Andre, a peace that suddenly feels boring and suffocating compared to the electrifying toxicity of her past. But Bill does not stop at the office. He is playing a long, calculated game of emotional chess, and he uses his own daughter's trauma as the ultimate Trojan horse. Knowing that Naomi desperately wants her parents to find common ground and stop their endless warring, Bill uses this innocent desire as a free pass to infiltrate the Dupree household. He starts showing up frequently, hiding his sinister, seductive intentions under the wholesome guise of family support. He weaponizes the concept of family to gain access to Andre's sanctuary. It is brilliant, it is sickening, and unfortunately for Andre, it is working flawlessly. Dani's behavior during these uninvited visits is a masterclass in psychological compartmentalization and deceit. When Andre is in the room, Dani puts on the performance of a lifetime. She actively pushes Bill away, maintaining a cold, distant, and irritated exterior to reassure her husband that Bill is nothing more than an unwelcome necessity for Naomi's sake. She wants Andre to feel secure, to believe that he is the undisputed king of her heart and that Bill is merely an annoyance. But the moment Andre leaves the room, the moment the audience of her devoted husband is gone, the facade crumbles instantly, revealing the ugly truth beneath. In private, Dani simply cannot resist the gravitational pull of her ex-husband. The performative disgust she shows in front of Andre melts into an undeniable, magnetic submission whenever she and Bill are alone in the hallways or corners of the house. It is a sickening duality. She is living two completely different lives under one roof, wearing a mask of loyalty while harboring a secret obsession. How can someone who claims to love a man as good, pure, and supportive as Andre Richardson turn around and melt into the arms of the man who previously destroyed her sense of self-worth? It proves that Dani's emotional healing was never real. She merely used Andre as a comfortable band-aid, and now that Bill is picking at the scab, she is bleeding out all over again, completely willing to sacrifice her stable future for a hit of her toxic past. This brings us to the most unforgivable escalation of this entire storyline. We can, somewhat, and I mean very loosely, understand a moment of weakness in a dark elevator during a deadly tornado. Panic does crazy things to the human brain, and the fear of death can trigger primal reactions. But what happens next strips Dani of any remaining sympathy from the audience. This ceases to be a mistake. It transitions from a lapse in judgment into a premeditated, calculated, and deeply malicious lifestyle choice. The stage is set on a quiet evening when Andre is away from the house. This should be a night for Dani to decompress, to process the heavy emotional toll of Naomi's BRCA diagnosis, or perhaps to call her husband and seek his loving support from afar. Instead, the snake slithers right into the garden. Bill sneaks into the house, fully aware that the coast is clear and the husband is gone. And Dani, she does not lock the door. She does not call security. She does not tell him to leave. She lets him in. She lets him stay. Let that sink in for a moment and truly digest the magnitude of this betrayal. Dani Dupree allows her toxic ex-husband into the sacred sanctuary of the home she shares with Andre. They cross the ultimate line, turning a fleeting emotional affair into a full-blown, long-term physical betrayal right under Andre's roof. This is not just cheating. This is an aggressive act of profound disrespect. To defile the very bed you share with a man who has done nothing but love, protect, and support you through your darkest hours, it is absolutely vile. Dani has completely surrendered to her darkest impulses, prioritizing her twisted lust over the vows she swore to the man who saved her. We have to ask ourselves, why? Why risk a beautiful, stable marriage for a man who is currently being poisoned by his own new wife? Shout out to Haley's lethal special juice, which Bill is entirely oblivious to. It is because Dani is fundamentally broken on an emotional level. Andre offers peace, stability, and unconditional love. But for someone accustomed to the chaotic, adrenaline-fueled roller coaster of a toxic relationship, peace feels like boredom. Bill knows exactly which psychological buttons to push to make her feel alive, even if that life is built on a rotting foundation of lies, deceit, and impending doom. Dani is an addict, and Bill is her drug of choice. And then we have Andre. Sweet, devoted, perceptive Andre. He has already been suspicious for weeks. He heard Dani and Vanessa whispering about an affair and trying to cover it up. He noticed Dani's frantic, panicked behavior after the tornado. He is not a fool, but his fatal flaw is his immense capacity for trust and love. He wanted to believe that his wife was just traumatized by the storm. He wanted to believe her flimsy lies because the truth was simply too devastating to comprehend. He chose to look the other way because he believed in the goodness of his wife. But the truth always comes to the light, and the way it happens in this storyline is nothing short of a cinematic tragedy. Andre returns home early from his trip. He is likely hoping to surprise his wife, to offer her a comforting embrace after a stressful week dealing with Naomi's health crisis. He wants to be the supportive husband he has always been. But as he approaches his own home, the sanctuary he built with the woman he loves, he sees it. Bill's car, parked discreetly nearby. It is the ultimate red flag, a glaring beacon of betrayal, sitting right in his driveway. What happens next is a true testament to Andre's character and his incredible self-control. A lesser man might have kicked the front door down. A lesser man might have stormed into that bedroom, screaming and throwing punches, creating a chaotic scene of violence, rage, and humiliation. But Andre does not do that. He stops dead in his tracks. He stays outside in the cold, dark night, watching his own house from a distance. The sheer restraint it takes to stand there and process the destruction of your entire life without making a sound is staggering. It is a quiet, suffocating heartbreak that is far more powerful than any screaming match could ever be. And then comes the visual that will undoubtedly haunt Andre Richardson for the rest of his life. Standing outside, his heart turning to absolute ice in his chest, he looks up at the window of his own bedroom. There, projected against the glass in the dim light, is the unmistakable silhouette of Bill Hamilton. In that singular, agonizing moment, Andre's entire world shatters into a million irreparable pieces. The warmth, the love, the devotion, it all dies instantly in the cold night air, replaced by a chilling, hollow realization of ultimate betrayal. The woman he adored has brought the devil into his bed. Andre does not confront them. He does not scream her name. He simply watches, letting the reality of his wife's unforgivable treason sink deep into his bones. This silent observation is far more dangerous than a loud confrontation. Andre is not just experiencing heartbreak, he is experiencing a profound psychological paradigm shift. The man who loved Dani unconditionally is gone, dead and buried in the front yard. He is replaced by a man who is now silently preparing for a cruel, calculated, and utterly devastating separation. Dani thinks she is getting away with her secret double life, completely unaware that the husband she is fooling has already witnessed her ultimate sin and is plotting his next move in the shadows. Dani Dupree has officially sealed her own fate. She traded a rare diamond for a handful of toxic dirt, and the fallout is going to be biblical in scale. When Andre finally strikes, it will not be with the fiery passion of a jealous lover, but with the cold, calculated precision of a man who has nothing left to lose and everything to avenge. Will Dani realize what she has thrown away before the divorce papers are served? Or is she too blinded by Bill's manipulative fog to see the hurricane heading straight for her? One thing is for certain. The destruction of this marriage will be the most brutal, captivating chapter Fairmont Crest has ever seen. What do you guys think? Does Dani deserve any sympathy for falling back into her abuser's trap? Or is she about to get exactly what she asked for? Let us know your thoughts.